He thought taking his ex on a luxury vacation would break me. Flaunting private beaches, champagne toasts, and fake smiles like weapons. What he didn't know was that while he was busy trying to make me jealous, I was booking a one-way flight to freedom. And I never looked back. Asterisk. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an incredible story like this one. Asterisk. I sat in the back seat of his black SUV, watching the cityscape blur past in shimmering ribbons of neon and streetlight. He leaned forward, thumbed his phone, a grin playing on his lips. "She's going to love it," he said. His voice was soft, rehearsed, as though he'd practiced every syllable. Thought I'd show her I can do this better. That this was everything. That this was showing off, flaunting, proving that anything he'd ever said about me, about us, had been wrong. We were driving to the airport, bound for an all-inclusive resort perched on a cliff over the Caribbean Sea. A place with private villas, infinity pools shaped like ripples in a lake, turquoise water you could see straight to the bottom, like something out of a magazine. She was waiting for him there. His ex. The girl he said he could never get over. The one he told me was history. But here they were. History remade in public, in luxury, in tiki bars and champagne flutes and secluded beaches. And I was supposed to be jealous. That was the mission. That was the plan. I looked out the window. I hadn't planned to go. He'd told me, "Come too. After all, you've always said you deserved better," he'd said, quietly. "Come see what you can be." His voice had that strange combination of pity and pride. He wanted me there, believing I was watching him do for her what he said he couldn't do for me. Prove to me, really, that I'd made a mistake leaving. Make me regret. But as the SUV rumbled along, I realized I couldn't. I couldn't walk into that resort, pretending everything was fine, pretending I could watch him smile at her, touch her hand, float in her laughter. I knew me too well. My heart would braid tight inside my ribs. I would taste bile whenever she looked at him like she already owned the memory of his hugs. I would overhear their giggles, those hollow shimmering moments that belonged to both of them. She was supposed to be gone, but she was alive in every shadow he cast. So I didn't put on the linen dress I bought in soft blush tones. I didn't pick the sandals with the rose gold straps. I wrapped my hair in my old scarf, pulled on the first sweater I found, laced up sneakers. I packed my essentials, passport, boarding pass, a few dollars in cash, my phone, and headed to the airport first thing in the morning. Before sunrise, before he had the chance to call, "Please don't go," before he could lock me in with guilt. And remember when? The plane lifted off just as the dawn broke, purpling the sky. In the clouds I pressed my forehead to the cold window, thinking, this is the real kind of luxury, to unshackle from chains you didn't know you were wearing. The scent of recycled air and pressurized metal, the roller click of luggage wheels over terminal tiles. I felt more alive in those minutes than I had in weeks of drifting through his staged paradise, when the wheels kissed the runway in a city halfway across the world. I stepped into the humid air, lungs filling with possibility. The chaos of traffic, the smell of food vendors along narrow streets, the bright colors of things I couldn't name but wanted to. Markets brimming with scarves, spices, silver, fabric that caught the sunlight. Children dancing in the gutter, calling out, "Hello," wanting to practice their English. This was real. Imperfect. Alive. Raw. I told myself, there's sun-bleached photos on his feed. They'll look perfect on Instagram, but not here. Not where sweat stains linen, where sand gets into every crevice. where the salty air crashes harsh on skin that is too used to filtered perfection. Here, beauty is bruised and glorious. Here I could feel again what it meant to be myself, not someone's accessory. I found a hostel by the sea, a small wooden place painted teal with open windows letting in twilight. The reef stretched in front of me, silent and pulsing, a place where clownfish darted, where coral exploded in blossom. I sank into a hammock with a book, one I had started months ago but never finished. I let the pages curl around my fingers, let words anchor me. That first night, the moon was a curved silver smile over the water. I didn't think about him, not really. Instead, I listened. Waves kissing shore, cicadas singing the dark, the distant rumble of trucks hauling fish at the docks. Somewhere far off, laughter in bars, clinking of glasses, people alive not for show, but just because. I slept deeply, the kind of sleep where nightmares can't find you. Over the next days, I wandered. I ate street food hot, fragrant, oily, marvelous. Mangoes so sweet they made my eyes water. Papaya salsa so sweet I burned for hours, but smiled all the same. I shook hands with folks who didn't care about my story, about who I used to be, or who he was. I snorkeled through reefs, watched sea turtles drift by, seaweed dancing like ghosts in the water. I swam until I was exhausted, then floated, tethered to nothing. One dawn I climbed a hill to watch the sunrise. I reached the top, lungs heaving, knees sticky with dew. The sky bled oranges and pinks, the sun grew, a golden knife slicing open the horizon. I cried, not from pain or heartbreak, but from something deeper, gratitude. For being free, for being brave enough to walk away, for the knowledge that I could choose this wild freedom of self over anyone's attempt to possess me, to define what I deserved. A message came one morning. "Where are you?" From him. I stared at the screen. Should I say something? Should I pretend like I'd been crushed by being left? I typed words then deleted. At that moment, I realized they didn't matter. I tossed the phone onto the bed. His worry, his possessiveness, his longing for control, they all collapsed into static white noise. I had flown so far away, not just in miles, but in sense. I met people, a local artist who carved wood sculptures, dust on his hands, who taught me how the grain of mango tree wood tells stories of rain and drought, of seasons and storms. A group of backpackers who shared a coconut with me under a palm tree, who didn't ask about my ex, only where I was headed next. We planned for tomorrow. A hike into rainforest, waterfalls hidden, natural pools, water cool and sweet. I laughed so much I forgot that a part of me used to stay quiet, always waiting for him to text back, waiting for storm clouds of his mood. One afternoon, I wandered into a church built on a cliffside. The stained glass danced color over wooden pews. Sunlight fractured into diamonds of blue and gold across empty seats. I lit a candle for myself, not for what had been lost, but for what had been found. Courage, independence, a sense that I was enough. A candle for truth, for love without needing someone to validate my worth. I'd been afraid that leaving would mean loneliness, but I found that the hardest part was stepping out the door. The rest everything after walking away was reclaiming something that had been mine all along. Even the loneliness, when it came, was beautiful. It was the space where I could listen to my own heartbeat without interruption, without someone else's breath in my stories. His photos from the trip arrived in my feed. Palms, sunset cocktails, designer dresses, her hair pinned with flowers. I studied them like one stares at an old painting, recognizing light and shadow, knowing it's just paint, strokes. I realized no filter could fake absence. In all those pictures, she had his arm, his laugh, But he didn't have me. And the memory that she laughed was hers, not mine to bear. I let them fade from my thoughts like old perfume. On the plane back, yes, I booked a return ticket. Because freedom is a journey, not abandonment. My skin felt warmer, less damp with fear, more sun-kissed. I carried souvenirs, a necklace carved from seashells, a journal filled with salt-smudged pages, a song I hummed that I learned in the market. I carried coral dust under my nails, the scent of spices stitched in folds of my clothes. He met me at home, with surprised eyes. With you came back, like he expected I would fold, like he believed I needed him to anchor. But I stepped over the doorstep knowing that I was now home inside myself. I greeted him with calm, with kindness, with neutral tone. He asked if I was okay. I said, I'm better than okay. He asked if I saw them, if I watched them together. I shook my head. I said, I saw you with her online. But when I saw the sea, the stars, when I smelled the rain, when I held my own hand, I saw me. He looked at me then, in a way I hadn't seen before. His surprise, maybe even his regret, was an understanding that freedom could never be rented, never be borrowed. It must be claimed. We didn't speak much about the trip. Some gratitude, some awkwardness. But I knew I had taken a one-way flight, not just out of his world, but into mine. And in mine, I was the protagonist. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. I didn't need to see him jealous. I didn't need her to look. I needed me to see me, to look, and I did. In the end, luxury doesn't lie in hotel suites or curated Instagram posts. Luxury lies in waking up and realizing you choose your morning. Luxury lies in breathing freely, laughing without looking over your shoulder, walking away from the cheap theater of jealousy. Luxury is freedom, and I took a one-way flight into mine.